And that's what Dave sounded like during Louisiana Bayou. June 10th, 2022, Blossom Music Center. June 21st, 2002, Pine Knob Music Theater. We got Double Dave today on Vinyl Stallions. I'm Klep.
I'm Spruce.
And you're on the next episode of Vinyl Stallions.
Ooh. And we are just juiced. Inject it with me, because it's Dave Day Recap Part 1.
So, like I just said, we're doing 2 concert reviews in one. We got Blossom in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. That was on June 10th. And then we got Pine Knob, which is up in Clarkston, Michigan. That was on June 21st. 2 geographically close venues, 2 pretty similar shows because they were both, I guess Blossom was on a weekend. That was a Friday show. But 2 geographically close venues, 2 one-day shows, and we were talking Dave Matthews Band.
And again, if you are a first-time listener, somehow came across us on this one, just know we have about 90% of our episodes probably has mentioned Dave Matthews Band at some point. So if you couldn't tell from our excitement as we entered this episode, me and Klep are beyond stoked. Again, we have seen Dave this past summer of 2022 4 separate times. Well, separate here, separate there. We'll dive into it, but just know we started out again June 10th, and it was a Friday. And I've never seen Dave on a Friday in my life. I am so glad he decided to choose it for Blossom. I know they love Blossom, but what? So to put it in perspective, I went with a handful of my buddies and people. We just got lawn seats, and my uncle Chip picked us up. And man, to set the tone for this whole experience was him coming into my house, just saying the funniest shit in the world, was driving us there, talking about the old times that Blossom and like the Coliseum used to be out there, the Richfield Coliseum, where there was a bunch of concert venue, or it was a concert venue, and also where the Cavs used to play.
Yep.
And he was just
the Cleveland Barons.
True. And he would just say some just hilarious stuff. He's like, there used to be in the trees, man, spotting if anyone's drinking or if you're trying to sneak like a keg in. And he was saying all this really funny stuff, and me and a couple buddies were dying laughing. So that set the tone. We met up with Rich Barbaric, diehard DMB fan, one of like a best friend of my father, and he posted up in lot A right at the front. And I went with his crew last year, so I knew right where they were going to be. And yeah, so we were primetime real estate, primetime tailgating, got there at least 2 to 3 hours early and set up for an unreal night.
And that worked out very well for me and my fiance, Gabrielle, because we were coming from Toledo. So, we hop on the turnpike, head down, get to Blossom. We're not parked anywhere near A lot. We're like way out, like by the entrance, which if you've never been to Blossom, where you enter is like probably over a mile away from the actual venue. When you say Spruce?
It's a
hike.
Big old field. And it's a crazy parking lot to be in. That's why you want to definitely try to get there early. But again, it was a Friday and Cup had to work, so they got there a little bit later, but we're able to walk up, meet up with our tailgate, but you got there. We were able to hang out for at least 45 to an hour beforehand.
Yep. Yeah. So we walked up to where Spruce and his crew were posted up and joined them. And yeah, like Spruce just said, we hung out 45 minutes to an hour, got a picture that I think has been posted on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not, but
with
if
Richie
not,
B, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So, yep, we got that. And then we headed in. The
Yep.
Blossom Music Center to see some Dave Matthews Band.
So Klep was with, again, his fiance Gab, and they sat in the pavilion. And again, we were in the back on the lawn, but we were right up against the fence. So like I could literally see in and see it all. It was like they started pretty much right on time with this one, like a little bit after. It was probably like 7:40, 7:50-ish, but
Yeah, it was closer to 7:50.
Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't too late.
It was not. But so they broke out with One Sweet World.
Yeah, early live tune off of Remember Two Things, and I love this songs. I mean, if you hear it on Remember Two Things, it's also a live take, but there's no studio recording of this song. So if you want to hear it, you got to hear it live. And I don't know, I love the horns in this one. Like Jeff's sax part in this song is just incredible.
Yeah, it's so Club mentioned before we even started recording, when like I don't know, this is like not one of my favorite DMB songs. You mentioned how you love the horns. I get bored of the horns sometimes in this song, as bad as it sounds. Like I know how yeah, dude, I'm just
it's perfect.
Yeah, no, I mean I love it. There's no Dave song I dislike. I was talking to my buddy with this about how, or no, I mean we were talking as well this morning about how like Crash Into Me is just like one of the most famous Dave songs. The people who are really into Dave Matthews, like it's very underrated, but then it's also a very overrated song by just like the casual listeners because it's one of the 2-3 that they know of DMB.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one I was telling Club this morning. I'm just like, you know what? Like I was a casual listener at first, and then I came around, and now I just find myself constantly being, I'm like, I'm the king of the castle, you're the dirty rascal.
Crash into me, babe.
But yeah, so we started out with One Sweet World. It was a good way to set us up for like a good night. Sun is still shining. Then we went right into Granny, which I saw for the
crowd into it right away.
Dude, I saw that one for the first time when we were in Columbus last year, and I didn't know the song, and they opened with it when we were in Columbus. So and for people out there, when Klep and I saw DMB in Columbus, we were like 6th row, 5th row. We were just like right in front of them, and it was inside at Nationwide, which is an arena. And it just gave like a different feel than outside venue because we literally heard exactly what was like. We were in front of the PA system. So like that was a just out of body experience, that concert. Well, like easily one of my top favorite concerts ever. But
absolutely.
But hearing Granny, so like I just remember like the lights matching up. Will we find love? It's hot in there. Keeps us dancing
and romancing, baby.
And like the lights will just like flash with it. And Klep mentioned getting the crowd involved. So that was just an absolute ripper. And then right into number 3, What Would You Say? Which is one I have not heard live yet.
Yeah, it was my first time hearing it live too, which that one just, I mean, it's a classic Dave radio song. It's the first Dave song I ever remember, like from when I was younger.
I just remember like none of our other friends met up with us. So it was me, my buddy El Casino, and then my buddy Steve. And knowing that we were on the lawn, like, so we talk about with the Stallions, how like something that we don't do is like really drink that much because we don't want to like always be going to the bathroom. We all, and I don't know, just getting sidetracked and remembering the concert. We let ourselves a little bit loose. We got a jug of, I don't even know, like Tito's or something, but it had like a cowboy hat on it with a straw, and we were just like drinking those. So, but it was only us 3, and this is one that like Steve and Al, I've showed them a lot of Dave's. They're probably sick of Dave because of me, but they yeah, if you're listening to this, sorry, but I'm not sorry, and you're welcome. But so we went ham to that. I just remember being like, "Yeah, I was there when the band did it. I thought it was Gandhi."
I sort of had a similar experience over where I was, because like Gabrielle was like, "Ooh, this is one of the ones I hear you play in the car," and I was like, "Yeah, I really like." She's like, "I really know this one," and like it was like sort of bopping along to it.
No, it's a ripper. And then they went straight into another famous radio DMB song, Funny the Way It Is. And this is when the rest of
Yeah.
my crew showed up, and I just remember seeing Bogart just being like, "Funny the way it is, if you think about it."
One of us is headed and the other one is head. Funny the way it is.
You're not right, and you're not wrong. But yeah, that one is crazy because of the breakdown. And I remember, I don't really know the song that well on guitar. Yeah, dude, that shit is like, I tried learning this back in December on guitar, and like the verses and chorus are pretty easy on it, but then when you get to that part, you're like bum dum 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 bum 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 bum, watch the bum 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 bum. And I remember just, oh, that is when I was like, I'm at a Dave concert. Like we're here. It's time to just,
and it gave a nice change of pace too, because you know, One Sweet World, that's one of the first songs they ever wrote and had in their arsenal. And then Granny wasn't on Under the Table and Dreaming, but it was recorded during those sessions and cut from the album. So still another early song. And then What Would You Say is like their first big radio hit. So, you know, like they a lot of early material, the first three songs, and then you get into Funny the Way It Is, which is Big Whiskey and the Groove King, which I think is what, 2009, 2007, 8 or 9, something in there, late 2000s song. So you get like they moved into a different era. And then so then, yeah, after that, they went into Break For It, which is my first and only time hearing this song. So this is another live only song, isn't it?
Yep, live only. And it's a unique one, honestly. It's like not one that you find too many. Like, again, you can only hear the song on the live tracks or again on YouTube or some videos. So you got to really like seek it out or. But so yeah, so this was the first one where I was like, you know what, I've heard it, I've definitely heard it, but I didn't know it that well until after that. And it was and you talked about like a change of pace. So they went from Break For It into Grace Is Gone and into like a 15-minute Seek Up, which I know they usually do very long versions of it, but that portion of the set list, again, Break For It, Grace Is Gone, Seek Up, kind of all blend together for me. They're all like kind of like slower grooves. And
Grace Is Gone, they did a pretty long jam before they actually entered the song, and that was another one that I guess I play a lot in the car for Gabrielle, because she pointed out, she's like, yeah, I know this one, you play this one a lot.
Yep.
But yeah, it's Seek Up, another one. That's one of the first songs they ever wrote. That's off that Remember Two Things album, which, for those who don't know, is an album that is pretty much all early live material from Dave Matthews Band. It was released before their first studio album, Under the Table and Dreaming. And I believe there might be like 1 or 2 tracks on it that are studio recorded. Like I think Christmas Song, that might be a studio recording, and there might be like one other, but there's a lot of live songs that you don't hear on a studio album, like Seek Up, Minarets, One Sweet World, like, you know, there's a few.
I actually have something funny that I have never told anyone about Seek Up when I've been listening to it recently, but there's one line where Dave goes, "You seek up a big monster for him to fight your wars for you." And so that line, I hear him say, he goes, "Seek up a big monster." And so there's 2 things that come to mind when I hear that. There's a show called I Think You Should Leave, which is Tim Robinson doing like a bunch of small little sketches. And one of them, I'm not even going to get into detail, but there's a character named Eddie Munster who is stealing this woman's tables. And like, I don't even know, I'm not going to justify it. Just go look it up. It's like, again, a sketch, like couple minute sketches, and it's fucking hilarious. But anyway, I will be putting together. Well, and then so Eddie Munster is that, and then Eddie Munson is a new guy from like Stranger Things who was like the rocker and played Metallica while the bats destroyed him. And so anytime I hear "Seek Up a Big Monster," I hear "Seek Up Eddie Monster," and I will be putting together a TikTok or a reel or something of Dave saying that live, and then I will put one of those two clips after, and we'll expose Eddie Monster.
All right.
Here to hear first. Anyway, straight into a number 8 was "Stay or Leave," which is a Dave Matthews
solo song.
Solo.
Yeah, so they played this. I'm pretty sure it's the same for you, Spruce, but this was your first time hearing this live.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. So after that song, they finished it, killed it. Dave goes like, he's thanking everyone for coming, says he loves being at Blossom on a Friday. And he's like, so what we're trying to do tonight, we play a little bit of this and a little bit of that and hope that you like something. And then they play, and you knew when he said that meant they were going to play some of the new shit. And for those who don't know, Dave Matthews actually recently on a Sirius XM interview said the album is done. So they're just waiting to release it. But this next song that they played is going to be on that new album. I've heard, I want to say 3 of the songs that are off this live, including the one that they played, "Walk Around the Moon." The 2 others that I've heard live are "Madman's Eyes" and "The Only Thing," which I think there might be 1 or 2 more that they have already debuted live off that album. But yeah, they just like, the thing that's so cool about this song is Jeff plays the flute on it.
Is this the one where it's like, it's red and it's blue?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was a crazy one. You walk around. Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, this was my first time I got this. I got a lot of firsts on this one. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of firsts. But not a first after that one. So at number 10, they just came out with 41.
Yeah, yep. Another one, just get the crowd into it, play a classic, and just tee it off.
Yeah, no, that one you can never go wrong on. But so he goes into number 11, which is,
and I had a feeling this was coming just because I saw Dave whip out the electric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, it's always fun at Dave Matthews shows when you see an electric come out. You're like, okay, there's a handful of songs like Right, yep. Bayou, Samurai Cop, and that's what we got. We got Samurai Cop, "Oh Joy Begin" at number 11. And talk about a song. So when I was exploring Dave Matthews this last year, he does a Tiny Desk concert, and I'm pretty sure he plays this song. I know for a fact he plays it on Howard Stern's show as well. And
okay.
And I used to be like, it's a good song, but like, I don't know, like I wasn't sold on it. And something about seeing
you got to hear it with the electric guitars. It's for sure a guitar song,
dude. And again, just like what he's doing with his hands, like learning Dave songs is like the most fun. Like sex is cool, but learning Dave songs, they top it. But they, so just down, and his hands are always moving, and the way he puts that effort in singing is just like beautiful. And then Carter comes in on the drums, gives you like just that sway. There's this song, and just "Come Tomorrow" in general has been on a pretty consistent loop recently.
That is a great album. Yeah, and Samurai Cop is the first song off that. And then we were lucky enough to get a Grugrux song that I wouldn't say is like super rare, but it's kind of rare. I mean, it's the only time I've ever heard it.
Drum beat louder. Drum beat
louder.
Open up your head. Open up your mouth. Squirm.
Yeah, and I feel like it seems like it almost every Dave show like this tour, like they'll play the classic Grugrux songs, but they'll always whip out like one deep Grugruck song per show.
Oh,
And this was the one that we got at Blossom.
I love Grugrucks. Oh my god, me and Klep go back and forth whether the fourth best album of DMV is Every Day or Grugrucks, and we'll settle that on another episode and get your opinions out there. But Squirm, I remember specifically, is when it started getting like when I recognized it was dark. And Brett Barbaric, who's Richie B's kid, who's my buddy and I've known forever, and then his friends and some people, Gino from In Bloom Productions, they were all in the pavilion, but they came back to hang out with us for like 3 songs. And this song is when they came back. And I knew they didn't really, or like some of them didn't know it that well, but they were getting so into it. They were like, open, I'll be open, open, I'll be all mile.
Yeah, and so I gotta mention something because you're just talking about Grugrucks and Every Day. So at this point in the show, no song off of Every Day has been played. I'll add to that. No song off of Before These Crowded Streets had been played yet. I'll add to that. No song off of Stand Up had been played at this point. And I'll add to that. No song off of Away from the World had been played at this point. But that all changed with the next song.
And this is what Al Casino was begging for. A space between
oh, wicked lies that hope. Yeah, great song. Another radio hit.
Another one that like took me a while, like again, casual listener, I'm just like, oh, shut the fuck up, Dave. And then like you go and listen to it again and you're just like, the space between. Like it's
you cannot quit me so quickly.
It's such a vibe. That is
there's no hope in you for
I remember
me.
Casino was somewhere else. Like he wasn't down by us when that song played, and I came back and I was like, Casino, your song. But so Space Between, and then after they played another one from Come Tomorrow called Come On, Come On, which I've been hearing on the radio a shit ton a lot recently, or just out at restaurants. So
yeah, that's a banger. And I think I heard this. This was the first time I had heard it on this tour. Well, because it was the first show I had been to on this tour. But I think I got this at every show I went to on this tour. Like they've been playing this one a lot this summer.
Yep, it is a ripper, but nothing like what's coming up.
Yep.
Dancing Nancy's.
Yeah. And so obviously a classic off of Under the Table and Dreaming. Just like, one of my favorite Dave songs. How do you complain? But they do this a lot. I'm starting to pick up on this. But a lot of times when they play Nancy's, they will go right into Warehouse, and that's exactly what they did at this show.
And dude, that's what they did in Columbus as well, if you remember.
Exactly. Oh, dude, Columbus, and that was right after they opened with Granny. So they did 3 Under the Table songs right off the bat.
that
Granny isn't technically Under the Table. But it's with the Sessions. It's with the Sessions.
It was intended to be. I was actually reading something like some Dave post how like that was originally supposed to be, dude. It was supposed.
Why would they have cut that from the album? What were you thinking?
It's supposed to be the lead single, is what I heard, and then they were just like, you know what, just like, nah, I don't know. But we go into a solo Dave song, one again that has just in the past couple months. I'm just like, Muriel Stonewall, 1960 to 1903. Like,
which also it makes the set a little unique. 2 Dave solo songs off of that Some Devil album, which again, I feel like you don't see in a lot of sets.
You don't, but all right. So this is Grave Digger is the 17th song that we got, and then to close out, he just rips 2 back-to-back party songs, Gray Street. Which is hilarious because, like, so Klep and I, when we were in Columbus or something, we heard Gray Street and everyone started cheering during the 3rd verse. We were like, what is happening? And then I go and like do my research and I'm like, apparently they didn't play that 3rd verse for a while, or Dave just like doesn't like it for some reason. So apparently it's like rare to get it. But dude, every time I've gone to Gray Street, I think he's played the 3rd verse in the last 2 years.
Yeah. And so for those who don't know, like Spruce and we have another friend, Michael, who's also a really big Dave fan. In our circle, I'm known as the Gray Street Magnet because every Dave show I've been to, they play Gray Street. It's also true of Dancing Nancy's, but the Gray Street Magnet rolls off the tongue a little easier. So we'll see if the next show I'm at, they play Nancy's and they don't play Gray Street. It'll just be the Nancy's Magnet. But for now, it's the Gray Street Magnet. And so before the show, like Spruce and I were talking, and we're like, they're gonna play Gray Street because I'm here. And sure enough, we got it.
And it wasn't the last time this summer.
Yeah, yep. Right now, it's still the Gray Street Magnet. It's not the Nancy's Magnet yet.
Let me just say something, Klep, and I think I know why this is happening to you. They're punishing you.
For Columbus.
For Columbus. And in Columbus, Klep, again, we didn't drink any water before this. And we're middle of the set was Gray Street was playing, and Klep's like, oh my God, I need some water right now. So Gray Street starts.
Passed.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, you all right? And so because we were waiting in line, it was a whole thing. But
yeah,
Gray Street started, Klep was like, I need water. So he left the pit. And then by the time he got back, Gray Street was still going. And it wasn't like they extended it or anything. It was literally a 5-minute ripper. But that's how long it took Klep to, again, leave 5th row, 6th row, go get water, come back and see it. But DMV saw him leave. And they said, this fucker is trying to get away from Gray Street. Give it to him every time. Check his warehouse identification. So they did that. And then from there, the 19th song and the last one of the actual show was Stay. Yep.
And so that was the first time we got a Before These Crowded Streets song on this set. So yeah,
I just spit
at this point in the set. Oh, you're good. At this point in the set, we still don't have a stand-up song, and we still don't have an Away from the World song. But we get our Before These Crowded Streets song with Stay. And this is my first time hearing Stay live. And that's one of my favorite DMV songs. And it was the last song on the first set. And I was just out of my mind.
Dude, everyone was dancing so hard to that one. My buddy Frank, I hadn't seen in a while, was apparently really into Dave as well. And just him and I were like, dun, 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 dun.
Makes her wanna. Come on in.
Dude, what a song. And then you go into the final encore. So a song that I've seen so many times at this point. Dave loves playing this song. I think he wants to bang Rye Whiskey.
Yeah. Tex Ritter cover. It's a song that was written back in the 1930s, probably played by old gold miners out in the West Coast.
But so again, I like Doggy because I've seen it a bunch of times and it's very subtle. But Dave's vocals on Rye Whiskey is Rye Whiskey, I cry.
Oh yeah, he gets up there. It's good. But yeah, it's a Dave solo song. So when they come out for the encore, it's just Dave and his acoustic. The full band isn't there yet, but they came out for the final song.
Of course they did.
Hit, not one, but two step.
Hey, my love. And a song I have been begging to get live, and I'm so glad that I was able to do it. He did the Time Bomb intro again, which was fucking incredible. I love when he does that live 2-step. And then he also they just tee off on that song for so long. I remember because I always try to time up the last note and leaving the concert, and they just kept playing it. I'm like, all right, guys, let's start walking towards the exit. This parking lot's going to be full. We just continued walking. I think it was still playing by the time I left Blossom. Just bum ba dum ba dum ba dum bum 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 bum. But yeah, so that was fucking crazy. Way to just end the concert, and again have it just play me out, 2-step.
Yeah. Oh, I was so pumped. That was my first time getting 2-step live. It's not don't take this the wrong way. It's not my favorite Dave song, but it's a really good Dave song, and I never heard it live, so I was like, I was itching for it too, for
And,
sure.
and it's such like a good song lyric wise. It's just like we're having a party, like
Celebrate we will.
life is short but sweet for certain. Hey. And so usually we say, my name's Spruce, he's Klep, and we close this shit out. But as you heard at the beginning, we're doubling down on this one.
We have another Dave concert to discuss.
But it wasn't one I was able to go to.
But it was still a good one nonetheless. Honestly, the set list wasn't vastly different, but there were definitely some differences. So, like I said, Pine Knob Music Theater.
So Klep just wigged out.
It's in Clarkston, Michigan. It's a much smaller venue than
Klep,
Blossom.
Klep.
Spruce.
I don't know if it got that. You've been wigging out.
Okay, so what I was saying, Pine Knob Music Theater. It's in Clarkston, Michigan, about 45 minutes to an hour north of Detroit. It's a much smaller venue than Blossom. Max capacity is like about 15,000, and Blossom's like 23,000. It was a weekday show. This was on a Tuesday, and this place was absolutely packed. I mean, yeah, 15,000. It's going to be a sold out show for Dave Matthews Band. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. Yeah, so I was there with my buddy Chris. He lives in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We just both drove on in from our separate ways and met up and got our faces ripped off by Dave. So the set list started with Proudest Monkey, but they played it much differently. So if you know the song Proudest Monkey, you know at the end it really picks up, gets batshit crazy. There's horns, like there's everything. Carter's teeing off, like it's just a crazy song, but they didn't play it that way. They kept it calm and acoustically like it is at the beginning of the song, just the whole way out. And then they go into, an absolute classic song off of Under the Table and Dreaming, Satellite. So yeah, I mean, I guess the set list is a little different at this point. They haven't played either of these songs at Blossom. And then the third song they played was Tripping Billies. They just ripped this song. I remember my buddy Chris, this was his first Dave show. I was happy to be a part of that experience. He just like sort of looked at me like, what the fuck is this, dude? This is crazy. Yeah, so yeah, they started off with 3 early songs, Proudest Monkey and Tripping Billies are off of Crash, Satellites off of Under the Table. And then, just like they did at Blossom, they played Funny the Way It Is, the 4th song in, giving us a little groove rocks. And I'm going to make Spruce jealous with this next one because we got a everyday song, When the World Ends.
Dun, dun.
Just Dude. A super wacky song.
Collect your things, you coming with me.
Yep. And then so the next song they played is another early live song off that Remember Two Things album. And this is my first time hearing it, and this was so funky. I just remember like Stefan's part was just like, whoa. But it's called Recently.
Dude, I remember you saying, so like, I guess I didn't realize that was not on like an actual album. I was like, oh, it's on Under the Table. And you're like, dude, no, it's not. And because I've heard that song so many times before, and I just like kind of assumed, I guess. So when you were like, dude, I got this random song called Recently, I'm like, what would do or what would down, what would do or what would down. Like, recently I've been thinking. Yeah, no, that is one that I've just don't catch me in the shower and listen to that one.
Yeah, oh my goodness. It was so good. I remember like my buddy Chris, he did not follow the Stallions' advice. He showed up right next to me with 2 Bud Lights in his hand, tall boys. So of course he had to pee. So I was And I remember when recently started playing, he was like, I don't really know this one, dude. I'm gonna go use this as an opportunity to take a piss. And he got back and he was like, so dude, what was that song? And I was like, I don't know, man, but it was fucking crazy. I was like, I don't know that you picked the best song to take a piss during.
I mean, I'll tell you, it wasn't the one after it either, because you guys went right into Rooftop, a little
Yeah.
away from the world.
Yep. Yeah. 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 So, oh, I want you to
Dude, what a
tell
twist of
me
a
that you
song.
love me.
Like, dude, it just goes like, I don't even know how to describe the first one. It's like standing on a roof, all these people are here, and like it's just like kind of like a little locomotive going, and then it's just down.
I want you to
Tell me
tell
that
me
you
that you
want.
love me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a crazy song. I find myself just singing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then after that, they went back to Come On, which they played pretty much the same way they did at Blossom, like, a little bit of a jam, not too long of a jam. But yeah, just another banger off of Come Tomorrow. And then the next song, this was interesting. We got a little hot take, Dave. So the next song was Sugar Man, which is a Rodriguez song. And Dave was like talking up Rodriguez quite a bit. He's like, not that many people know Rodriguez, but he's a personal inspiration of mine. And I think he's like right up there with Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones and all this. I'm like, careful now, Dave, careful. But anyways, Dave loves this guy. And they killed it. Yeah, this was amazing. And then they went into the classic. So much to say, seg into anyone seen the bridge, seg into too much. Which that combination of songs is a staple of a DMB show. We didn't get it at Blossom, but yeah, I mean, that was awesome. And yeah, I'm now realizing I said that the set list was pretty similar between both shows. I've realized we're 12 songs deep and only 2 songs overlapped.
Yeah. And it's not going to be the same either for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we got another song that's off the new album that's going to be coming out whenever they decide. Madman's Eyes, which yeah, Spruce and I were at the live debut of this song. We mentioned it earlier in the episode at Nationwide Arena in Columbus last year in November 2021. That's when they debuted Madman's Eyes, and this song is just crazy.
Dude,
It's
yeah,
like,
dude, the chorus is like you have all four of like Rashawn, Dave, Carter, and Buddy are all singing just
Yep.
I'm afraid inside, don't dang on the madman's eyes.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear how that sounds in studio. But live, they just rip it.
Yeah. Oh,
But then we go back to Samurai Cop, which they did play at the Blossom. So, we're back on track. That was a great rendition of it. And then of course the Gray Street Magnet strikes again. We get Gray Street.
Oh, look at how he listens.
And then the next song they played, this is my first time hearing this song, and I think this is probably my favorite Dave live only song, and it's Break Free. You gotta break free.
Dude, you like this isn't the episode, but like we'll get to Noblesville. But I remember we got that night one in Noblesville and just the whole next
I couldn't stop.
You couldn't stop.
It.
You literally gotta break free.
Yeah, but then so break free, we go into Lie in Our Graves, and here's where things got weird in the set list. They didn't finish the song. And I'm not complaining, because in this song, they just played it way different. Like, so, they get to the part where it slows down and it's like, doo, 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 doo. doom, doom, doom. And it cycles through that a few times until it gets like completely silent. And then Dave kicks in with I can't believe that we would lie in our graves. And that never came. The part where Dave kicks back in never came. And they never finished that. But what we did get was like a 5 to 7 minute jam session inserted into there. But yeah, when they did that part where the song quiets down and it's pretty much led by Carter, and it comes to that complete stop, and you were thinking that they were gonna kick back in with Dave going, I can't believe that we were lying in our graves. Instead, he comes out strumming the acoustic guitar, playing You and Me, which is my first time hearing this song. Another great song off of Gru Grux. And yeah,
Unpack your things.
Yep. I think it threw the crowd off because I think, like me, they were all expecting that, Dave coming in. I can't believe that we would lie in our graves. But yeah, so they played.
That shows you how unique the shows are, man. Like this band is a bunch of mad scientists trying to be the most unpredictable people they can every show.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Proudest Monkey and Lie in Our Graves, I may never hear them play that song live ever again. I could hear the song 10 more times, but I might never hear these renditions of it. But then, so yeah, after You and Me, of course, the Dancing Nancy's magnet strikes. We get some Nancy's. And then they close off the course set with a Bayou. And like Lie in Our Graves, they didn't finish the song. And again, no complaints because we got like a 5 to 7 minute jam that like they typically jam out Bayou, but not this long, not in this way. And they like what made it different is so like usually when they do Bayou, they finish all the choruses and all the verses, and then the end of the song is just this super long jam. So why this was different is they just finished the second verse. They didn't even do the second chorus. They just started jamming and they just didn't stop. And they just ended it after the jam. They never went back to the third verse or chorus. They just like, all right, we're done.
They didn't give you the do-si-do?
Well, they didn't need to because they still, the whole song was like probably like somewhere around 9 to 10 minutes when it was said and done. But yeah, so that was how they closed off the core set. Again, interesting. There were no songs off of Before These Crowded Streets in the core set. And I think we hit every other album. Let me see. Yeah. Every other album is covered except for Before These Crowded Streets. So that's a little interesting. On the Blossom show, we didn't get anything off of Away from the World. This Pine Knob show, we didn't get anything off of Before These Crowded Streets. We got the exact same encore, though, at both shows. So I got Rye Whiskey, Dave coming out solo, and then got Two Step again with the Time Bomb intro. So the encores were identical. And I think that's probably why as we've gone through the set lists, they actually weren't very similar set lists at all. But I think because the encores were the same, that's what made me think that they were similar set lists.
Hell yeah. Dave.
Dave. Yeah. We Big Dave Matthews Band fans, we will pretty much see him anytime that he comes around Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, maybe even Kentucky if he ever plays a show down there. But yeah, and stay tuned.
And don't even talk about like our experiences for a minute. Like if you have never seen this band live, you have to see this band live because you don't get an idea of what they have as a unit until you see it live. And there's some fucking stigma I don't really get why like it's so polarizing whether you like Dave Matthews or you don't. And it's with some other bands, I guess it's kind of jam bands kind of get those polarizations. But dude, these renditions of these songs, what they are doing musically and all in sync as well, changing the transitions, doing this every night with hundreds of different songs just in the rotation is like mind-numbingly awesome. They're doing it at like 50 something years old, and they're obviously not going to be doing it forever. So like, get the fuck out there and see Dave.
And I think I've been to 7 Dave shows. Yes, that's correct. 7 Dave shows. And at least my, like I'm a newbie compared to a lot of the people that you'll see at the.
Oh, Klep's going away again. But yeah, as Klep saying, we're pretty much newbies. These people have, DMB's been around since like 1991 is when they were formed. So there are people who have just been loyal fans the entire time, and it's just cool to see, cool to interact with them. So
I
definitely get out there.
Don't know what I'm getting into.
I don't know who got picked up in that recording, Klep, because you glitched out on my end, but I just kept talking with it. So we'll have to see afterwards who got the last word in.
I'm here.
Well, I didn't hear shit, but we'll have to see once we
shit.
well, hey, I kept talking, so we'll see who Zoom allows to get the final word in. But
no, I didn't hear you talking. That's why I kept talking.
Hey, baby, this is technology. You see, this is live. We're doing this thing for you and for me. So come crash into me, babe. My name is Spruce.
I'm Klep.
And this has been another episode of Vinyl Stallions.